a good Friday morning, 92.1 WROI, streaming audio live, RTC Channel 5, and audio and video, both live on the First Federal Savings Bank Facebook page. Tanner's got us all set up and running, right?
Absolutely.
Atta guy, way to go. And that way you can see the smiling face of Mr. Dick Belcher from First Federal Savings Bank.
Thank you. Thank you. I had a great birthday last weekend. So
Yes, you
I'm
did.
Still smiling.
There was a little party for you at the bank, I understand.
Yes, yeah. But the dancing girls didn't get there.
Well, maybe they'll be there this week. I mean, you can always hold out, you know? Always hope.
Friday at 5 or something.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. Rochester Youth Baseball League's Major League Field will be named the Nick Patterson Field tonight.
I think that's really a nice thing.
Members
Nice
of the Nick Patterson Community and Scholarship Fund presented a check for $20,000 to the Rochester Youth Baseball League last week. In addition to that, they have already given away 58 $1,000 scholarships. Paving of 4th Street is done, and some work on Ohio Street has started.
Yes, it has.
I went down 4th Street yesterday. I could get it up to 60 miles an hour.
There you go.
Boys, it's
Zip
smooth.
it right down, right?
Okay. Early voting is underway for the May 7th primary. Go over to the courthouse and vote.
It's important to do.
Yes, sir. And next week, tell us people out there what we're going to do.
Well, next week for our guests on the First Federal program, we'll have Fulton County Republican Chairman Mike Canada and Fulton County Democratic Chairman Phyllis Bittinger. And we'll just talk about politics a little bit, talk about local politics.
Yeah, we got to have politics to make this country keep it like it is and make it better.
And you know the phrase, too, all politics is local, right?
Yeah. Speaking of politics, Joe Biden's out.
20. Number 20.
Number 20.
Number 20.
I did like the number 20 entered in a race.
Well, it was 4 years ago. The Republicans had 17, right?
Okay.
So they're 3 up on the Republicans.
Okay, U.S. measles cases hit a 25-year high.
Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Charlee, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It sure is.
There you go.
Disease was eliminated officially in year 2000.
Right.
They say what happens is uninoculated people go over to Europe and they got a lot of measles over there and then they
Right.
come back.
Right.
Very highly contagious.
I had some of that bad information on the internet, too.
Yes. Legislature session is closed.
Done.
Yeah.
You know why they finished early?
Why?
Because of the National Rifle Association convention going on this weekend in Indianapolis, and the fact both the president and the vice president are coming into Indianapolis today. Our son Matt, who does traffic, he's pulling his hair out what he's got left because of the road closures and everything that goes along with when you get those two guys coming to town.
Yeah, and they're both coming. Both
Yes, they
speaking.
are. Both of them. Right.
And it's the headlines in the Star this morning was that would Trump mention the South Bend candidate?
We'll see.
Okay. Fulton County Chamber of Commerce members of the month is the Fulton County Airport.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
You had them on the program one time. I think I was gone.
Yeah,
but
we've had a couple
Right.
times. Yeah, and they've got that new facility going up out there. It was established first in 1934.
Really? Wow.
That's what they say.
Well, I always like to throw some kudos out to the late Jim Heide, too, because he had a lot to do with the airport, expanding it and getting it to where it is today.
Absolutely, and he was responsible for getting the housing that's in there, getting the runway extended. You know, when Jim asked for something, no was not in the vocabulary.
He would get it done.
Oh,
That's
he
right.
something else. If you ever wanted to raise money for something, get Jim to help you. Okay, I got a little trivia this morning.
I'm ready.
Okay, how many teams have never had the first overall pick in the NFL draft? Is it 2, 4, or 6?
Ooh, I'll have to think about that for a while.
Tanner, what's going on in the world of sports?
Oh yeah, we got some stuff to talk about this morning. Of course, a lot of local spring sports going on. I seem to say this every week. It's hard to keep up with who's playing what night and when and against who because the weather just doesn't want to cooperate sometimes during the spring. But all the teams have been really busy with games, and most of them doing pretty well.
Yes, they are.
See the softball teams tied for first in the conference right now. They have 2 big games coming up next week, so good for them. Got some playoffs going on, both in the NBA and the NHL. Both have been pretty exciting, except the NBA, even though they've kind of been exciting, most of the series have been done within 4 or 5 games. Now you do have one going into 7 games tomorrow night between Denver and San Antonio.
Right.
Got game 6 tonight between Golden State and Los Angeles Clippers, which I'm surprised that's reached 6 games. I think the Warriors have some dysfunction going on there a little bit, but it'll be interesting.
It will.
Especially if the Warriors somehow would get knocked out, then it'd be maybe a pretty fun playoffs.
It would be.
But the NHL playoffs has been fun, and
a lot of upsets there.
Like I was speaking with somebody yesterday, a lot of upsets, kind of unpredictable, and that's what makes the hockey playoffs always fun. It's really hard to predict. So, NFL draft was last night. Pretty good first round. It's long. It got over about midnight.
Well, the Colts about 11 o'clock last night gave up their first round.
Yep,
right?
gave up the
Traded
first round for an additional second this year and a second next year.
Right.
So they picked up some picks. It's kind of Chris Ballard's formula. A lot of good players available tonight in the second and third round. That's kind of where you make your draft class usually.
And that's what he said too. This is a draft that's pretty deep in talent,
especially on defense.
Right, and that'll help.
6 Big Ten players got drafted last night in the first round. Clemson, I believe, had 4 players, all from the defensive line, drafted in the first round. That's why they won the championship last year.
It is.
They were pretty good.
That's why they were 15-0.
Yeah, they're pretty good. So Kyler Murray, quarterback from Oklahoma, went number 1. First time ever a school's had back-to-back number 1 overall picks, and it was at the same position. Baker Mayfield last year,
That's right.
Kyler Murray, both Heisman Trophy winners. Pretty incredible. We'll see how he does. We'll see if he someday regrets not going to play pro baseball instead. So
we'll see.
We'll see.
Right.
So, I got some tidbits here this morning. On this day in 1514, just a couple years ago.
That's before my time.
Copernicus made his first observation of Saturn.
He did. Wow.
1514.
1514.
How do we know?
I just go by what that thing called the internet says, and it never lies.
Everything you read isn't.
It never lies. On this day in 1966, Red Auerbach retired as a coach of the Boston Celtics. He had some success.
Yes, he did. He had a lot of success.
How many years did he coach?
That's a good question.
He was there for quite a while. Yeah. Several championships.
Several.
Of course, Red's signature was always lighting the cigar at the end of the game when they won, and you would not. No way you could do that today.
No.
No way.
No, that would be probably frowned upon.
Yes, it would be.
On this day in 1983, the Baltimore Colts selected John Elway with the first pick in the NFL draft. He was later traded to the Denver Broncos. And then on this day, 29 years later, the Colts drafted Andrew Luck.
Wow.
So it's been a famous day in the history of the Colts organization. And on this day in 1993, NBC announced that Conan O'Brien was going to replace Dave Letterman. And Dave later went to CBS and was on there for many, many years. So. And Conan's still on late night TV now. And today's National Hug in Australian Day. So if you know anybody that's Australian.
I don't.
I don't either. So give them a hug. It's National Pretzel Day. So all you pretzel lovers got an excuse to snack on pretzels.
Yep. Chocolate covered, by the way.
There you go. National Alien Day. Now they're talking about the movie Alien, not the...
Oh, okay. Not hugging Alien
creature.
Day.
No, it's the movie Alien.
All right.
And it's also Help a Horse Day.
Okay.
So, see if there's some distress or need. Oh, I'm done.
You search hard, far and wide for these, right?
Oh, they're actually, you can find them pretty easily. There's some websites out there.
Now, Tanner, you missed a couple of really important things. Fishers is getting a new pickleball court.
It's news to me.
You know, that's a big deal in the South.
Well, it's coming up here now. And they're going to have a big tournament down there in Fishers. Somebody gave $60,000 for this court.
There you go.
They have Top Golf. Now they're going to
Yeah.
pickleball.
Yeah.
What else could you want?
And tomorrow is free fishing in all public.
Oh, is it?
waterways.
Okay.
They do that 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
a year.
That's cool.
We'll
Take a
have-
kid fishing tomorrow.
We'll have to work on the weather a little bit, maybe. Okay, the Fulton County Conservation Club has purchased 400 trees to be given away free to Fulton County citizens on tomorrow at 9 a.m. at Prairie Ridge Nature Park, West 3rd Street, just off of the bypass. We talked about that last week,
Yeah.
and I'll mention it again about you got to give those little sprouts tender loving care. You got to keep them moist and get them in the ground, keep them watered, or they will die. Rocksteady Boxing is holding an open house on Sunday, April 28th. That's this Sunday, from 2 to 4 at the Fulton County Wellness Center. It's a great program for people that are suffering from Parkinson's or have friends and neighbors that have Parkinson's. And it seems like more and more people are getting that disease. The next Women in Business event is on May 3rd at Giretti's. The speaker will be Jennifer Heinmein, Vice President, COO of Community Health Network in Howard Region. Winfield Crossing will be starting their senior walks on April 30th from 9 to 11. Anyone ages 55 and older.
Coming up Tuesday.
Yeah, good. Fulton County Choral Club is presenting a show tune extravaganza at the Fulton Community Center on Saturday, May the 4th at 7 o'clock. That's always a nice program.
It is.
Get out there and enjoy it. Times Theater Inc. is selling tickets. What tell us about this, Tanner?
Yeah, the Times Theater Inc. has a little promotion partnership with the South Bend Cubs going on right now. They're selling tickets to the South Bend Cubs Bowling Green Hot Rods game on Saturday, June 22nd. Tickets are only $11, and part of the proceeds from the tickets will go to the Times Theater. They must be purchased through this theater by contacting them at timestx@gmail.com. So, nice little way to get up and go see a nice minor league baseball game and help support the theater group that's trying to get the Times Theater going again here
You bet.
downtown.
Rotary Knights of Columbus Scholarship Fish Fries tonight.
Tonight
And
starts at 4:30
that's a good program. They give away a lot of scholarships.
at St. Joe.
You can go in and eat, or you just drive through
Right.
and they'll hand it to you.
That's right.
Redbud is this weekend,
It is.
Saturday and Sunday. That's a big event.
It is.
And, brings in a lot of people and is very educational, especially for young kids, I think. How about flowers to the Sentinel for the articles being run on General Paul Wagner? He flew 101 missions in Vietnam. His wife, Peggy, was in high school with me and
Okay.
know them very well. Okay, also, let's give some flowers to the city of Rochester. They're buying 5 new LED lights for East 4th Street.
That'll be nice once it's all
They
said
got a
and
lot
done.
of LEDs out now.
Right.
So that's good. Okay, let's talk about a little bit about money news.
Money news.
Okay, the Dow was off 134 yesterday, closed at 26,000.
Been a good week for the Dow, though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Wednesday was really good, and Thursday off. Maybe it was Tuesday. Apple reportedly spends more than $30 million on Amazon Cloud every month, making them a top AWS customer. That's Amazon Web Service.
Wow.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk.
Is he back in the news again?
Yeah, surprise, surprise. And he quotes, "It's financially insane to buy anything other than a Tesla, and it would be like owning a horse in 3 years."
That sounds like something he would say.
Well, he announced yesterday he's going to come out with a silent leaf blower,
Okay.
electric.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he does.
But silent, so don't wake your neighbors
Right.
up. Disney's new streaming service called Disney Plus finally has a launch date of November the 12th, and its price point will be $6.99 a month.
Disney stock has jumped dramatically over the last month or so because of these investments.
Now, Facebook, they're preparing for a fine from the Federal Trade Commission. They set aside $3 billion. That's with a B.
They must have done some things wrong, man. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Privacy violations.
Okay.
And the story is, well, they're making more money off of that. So what's $3 billion? Because in 2017 they made $11.9 billion, and then last year they made $15 billion. That's up 26%.
Is this all net profit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
There's some interesting things on interest rates. You know, they went up and now they're kind of coming down, and now they're going back up. The Freddie Mac comes out with these numbers every week, and yesterday they showed the 30-year fixed mortgage was at 4.20, and that's the week before it was 4.17. Well, that's only 3/100 of a switch, and it's about the same for a 15-year. So it's interesting that Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae both come out with those numbers. They do a survey for all their users every week. And, you know, what's your
Sure.
rate, and how many points you're charging, and all those things. Okay, come in today and see us. We're open until 5 o'clock, and tomorrow from 8:30 to noon. You can always bank with us online and with our mobile apps, which is free to download. Tell us about how that works, Tanner.
Yep. Whether you have an Apple device, Android device, tablet, phone, you can go to wherever you get your apps at. Type of First Federal Savings Bank for the green background with the white star. You can pretty much do everything you want with your banking needs right from your handheld device. You can deposit checks, you can check your balances, you can get instant alerts. We also offer digital wallet, which is Google Pay and Apple Pay. Those are free to download too. All you gotta do is enter your card information one time. Then you go to merchants that accept that, put up your mobile device right there, takes the number. And the cool thing about it is it's very safe because it uses a technology called tokenization. So it'll capture a one-time use 16-digit token number instead of your card information. So if there is fraud at that merchant, they can't get any of your information from your card. So very safe, easy, and quick way to pay. That's Apple Pay and Google Pay.
Excellent.
Well, I'm glad I asked you to explain that. We offer many different mortgage products: USDA, FHA, conventional loans, one-step construction loans, and more. See our originators here in Rochester, Ben Dalton or John Schaefer, and over at Winnemac, Bill Morris. They can help you out and pre-qualify you if you're interested in. You know, First Federal is the only locally owned financial institution in the county, and we welcome you to come in and visit with us. I think we can do a good job.
Still a shortage of inventory?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you come in and open an account, we give you a gift. Currently, it is a Bluetooth speaker. And next week, we're changing to what, Tanner?
A barbecue set.
Does anything come with the barbecue set, like steaks?
Oh, no steaks, unfortunately. But
you can
nice
just get the
utensils.
equipment, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Few
The hardware.
utensils, yeah.
The hardware.
Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We are a member of FDIC and an equal housing lender, and our NMLS number is 939 Charlee Schwenk, welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here.
We had you on last year. You were doing some things down in Indianapolis with some kids, and I understand you're going to do the same thing.
I am.
This year.
I'm going to be taking 77 students to an event called Kid Fit.
No, wait a minute. 77?
Yes.
You ever
Not
try?
by myself.
Oh.
I have 45 parent chaperones that will be going with me. So each of the parents will be responsible for 2 or 3 kids and to make sure that they all finish the race. along with the other 5,000 runners that will be there that morning.
Okay, now this, how long is this race?
It's a 5K, so it's 3.1 miles.
Okay, who organizes this? What is this? Are there going to be kids from all over the state there?
There will be. They opened this up. It's a program called Kids Fit, and we can participate. Several schools around us participated last year. Caston used to, and we get on that bus at 4 o'clock in the morning, right outside of Riddle School, and off we go, and we're home by noon. So it's a big day, and it's very exciting for some of our students who've never driven down Meridian to go down and see all those sites and those big houses. And they ask every year, does just one family live in that big house? And I have to tell them, that's all. And we pass the governors, and they're always amazed to see that he lives in a big house too.
Yeah, be sure and point out the governor's mansion
By all
as you
means.
go by there.
And it'll be light by that time, so it'll be okay.
Yeah.
4 o'clock, it's still pretty dark, but
Yeah.
it's quite a caravan when we look out the back window of the bus and we see 20 or 30 cars behind us all following us to go with their kids to participate.
Okay, how many years have you done this?
This is my 4th year.
Okay, what's your motivation? Why you do this? I know it takes a lot of extra work on your part.
I just do it because I want to see kids be active, and we've had a little running club at Riddle for probably about 20 years now, where I started out with about 10 kids who just said, hey, why don't we start some little club after school? And this year I have 100 students who stay 2 nights a week just to run after school with us. Keep them off the streets, I guess.
I guess so. Well, typically those evenings, how far do you run, or what do you do?
Most of them run at least a mile, and we do most of our work on the blacktop behind the school. We do venture over to the cemetery, and it's really tough when you tell kids, hey, only one more time around the cemetery and you've got this made. People look at us like, gosh, that's kind of a funny way to talk about it, but we encourage them to run the cemetery, I guess.
Well, you see so much now on childhood obesity and things like that, so
Yes.
at least you're doing something to try to counteract that.
Yes, we do, and in the fall we had a program called Walking Club for those students who they weren't sure if they could run that far. And so 2 nights a week we walked, 2 nights a week we had running club, and I told them, Friday night I'm going to go to the store all by myself, and they offered to go and help me every time too. So we just kind of like to have activities for them to keep kids busy and try to get a little interest sparked so that when they get to middle school and high school, they can participate in those activities. And I've always considered running a lifetime activity, and so maybe they'll just keep right on going, kind of like Forrest Gump.
4th graders, 5th graders?
3rd, 4th, and
3rd,
5th.
4th, and 5th, okay.
Mhm.
We're speaking this morning to Charlee Schwenk, running club, the sponsor of the running club. What classes do you teach?
I teach physical education, 2nd grade all the way to 5th grade.
And how many years have you been in the teaching business?
This is my 40th year to teach.
40.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great.
It's fun, and I'll do it until it's not fun.
You see a difference in kids over 40 years?
Pretty much. Some of them are a lot more competitive and more highly motivated, and then we also have those few that don't want to do as much, and it's a little tough because I was always an active child. I was that one that stayed out until it was dark and was forced to come inside when I was little.
I bet you were an active child.
You recently had your picture in the paper, an event in Texas.
Oh yes, I did. My brother winters in Texas, and we went to the World Championship rattlesnake race
I
there.
could hardly wait to go.
And my brother invited me back for next year's
Did he?
race
There
already.
you go.
It was kind of a fun thing.
No, boy, this girl is sick.
How does it work?
Well, you
gotta
kind
ask you. How does it
of
work?
have like a hula hoop that you're encouraging your snake. My snake's name was Cuddles, and that was an active snake, and they kept saying, oh look, Charlee from Indiana's in 1st place, and I was like, oh gosh, that's me, I don't know. It's a short race, it's only 6 minutes long, and it's about 50 yards.
How many snakes are in the ball?
There's 10 snakes per race.
10 per race.
And my poor husband, his snake, he just curled up and didn't move. I had the lucky snake, I guess.
Now, where do they get all these rattlesnakes? Out in the woods?
I think they come. I'm not sure where they came from, but there were an awful lot of them in this
How
big
many
bin.
participants?
There were 10 in each race, and there
Okay.
were 10 races.
100 people.
Hmm
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
100 snakes.
I
Right.
think Cuddles might have gotten used more than
Oh,
once.
okay. Okay. Well, with the reputation that Cuddles had, obviously,
Well,
you know.
I'd go back for Cuddles, yes.
Now, Charlie, you've told me about the group that goes from the library to the school in the mornings.
Oh, or when we walk to school.
Yeah.
That's
Tell
a-
us about that.
We'll be starting that next week, and we will walk from Riddle School to 4th Street, and then we go up 4th Street to Riddle School.
No, wait a minute.
3
You
days a
mean
week.
You start at the library, correct?
I'm sorry, yes,
Yeah.
we'll go down Fulton to 4th Street, and
Yeah.
then we pick up some more students at the corner of 4th and Fulton.
And how many would you have involved in that if it's nice weather?
Nice weather, I had as many as 20 students last
Yeah.
year. And I invited some of our football players to come and join us last year, and the kids thought that was pretty cool
Yeah, I
that
bet.
they would come and join us and walk with us.
Wow. How many years you been doing that?
We've only been doing that 2 years now.
When will that start?
Next week,
Okay.
and we'll go 3 days a week because April kind of got away from me real
Well,
fast.
the weather hasn't been that great in April
Right.
either, really.
Well, you're involved in the snakes also.
Just having fun.
Wow. Okay. Charlotte, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for
Yeah,
inviting
thanks
me.
for what you do too. They keep those kids healthy. I mean, that's a big part of growing up.
It is, and
Yeah.
start them young.
70 plus going down
Mm-hmm.
a week from Saturday, correct?
Yes,
So if we want to do a send off for you, we can come to Riddle at 4-8.
that'd be great. I'd love to see you. Actually, I'd love to see all my students make it on time. That's probably the most important
Do
part.
they do a good job of getting there on time?
Yes.
Wow, they're
Yes.
motivated.
They're probably excited, ready to go. You know.
Oh, yeah. I think they'd like to stay all night at school, but I won't let them.
No.
That would be way too much fun for them.
Okay, our trivia this morning. How many teams have never had the first overall pick in the NFL? Is it 2, 4, or 6?
What do you think, Charlie?
I'm going to go with 4.
I like 4.
That's right.
Wow.
deal.
Stump 'em.
Well done.
Tell us who that is.
Yeah, no, one's the Broncos off the top of my head. The Broncos, the Jaguars, the Ravens, and the Seahawks have never held the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Is that because they're better teams?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, especially for Denver. We'll go with that.
Okay, we got a quote here from Jim Rohn, American businessman. He was a motivational speaker, and for quite famous guy. He used to stock shelves at Sears and then got involved in motivational and made millions, and as an entrepreneur
Yeah.
lost millions and came back. But anyway, he says, happiness is not something you postpone for the future. It is something you design for the present.
Well said. Dick Belcher, as always, thanks very much. Charlee Schwenk, thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here
Thank
on the
you.
First Federal Program.